What's up, y'all? It's your boy AJ Trip once again here with another reaction video. Our good friends at Woke Culture are continuing their 10 fascinating videos. This time about WWE SummerSlam. I did 1998 a couple days ago. This one is 2001. So 10 fascinating WWE SummerSlam 2001 facts. So let's go ahead and let's check it out. For those of y'all who don't remember, this was during the time of the invasion. So this should be very interesting.
SummerSlam 2001 took place slap bang in the middle of one of the biggest angles in the history of professional wrestling, after Jim Crockett Promotions, later known as WCW, had been Vince McMahon's very best frenemy for over 15 years, twice the age of the average Shaq the Jobber fan. In March 2001, in a definitive ending to the Monday Night Wars, Sweet VMC flopped out his giant corporate dick and bought his competition. After an abortive attempt at rebooting WCW as its own thing, the green light was given to the invasion angle. Oh boy, said everyone, WCW versus WWE. Ric Flair, Sting, Goldberg, and the NWO versus Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, and The Undertaker. No, not at all. When it soon became clear that the invasion storyline would not live up to its potential, the mystique of the Attitude Era slowly began to drip away. SummerSlam, whilst having too many good matches to be considered a terrible show, is a perfect representation of that. I'm Plumpy from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 fascinating facts about SummerSlam 2001. Number 10, WWE went to war with DirecTV. During the telecast, Jim Ross noted that SummerSlam 2001 was the last WWE pay-per-view that would be available on American broadcast service DirecTV. The issue stemmed from contract negotiations between WWE and DirecTV in the summer of 2001, with the big hang-up being how to split revenue. WWE hates having to deal with middlemen, hence why spend $55 like a dumbass when you can watch it on WWE Network for just $9.99. Eventually, however, a deal was made, and WWE pay-per-views are still available on DirecTV to this day. Number 9, JR criticized the show on The Ross Report. In the days before social media outlets allowed for wrestling rumor to circumnavigate the globe faster than your dad's nude, you either had to keep up with the Wrestling Observer, or you could read between the lines of Jim Ross's weekly Ross Report. Although WWE's lead announcer of the time and then head of talent relations usually employed diplomacy when blogging about divisive topics, he wasn't afraid to offer criticism against the wares of his own employer. Ross would usually find the silver lining in whatever he discussed, but he also rated SummerSlam as a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10, and noted there were some things that we would have liked to change in hindsight. He didn't delve into specifics as to what the top officials disliked, but it was clear that internally there were felt to be some issues with how SummerSlam came off. Number 8, Edge fought to get Christian in his match. After winning the 2001 King of the Ring tournament, it was clear that WWE had big plans for hyper-charming blonde frog Adam Edge Copeland. His win over Intercontinental Champion Lance Storm at SummerSlam 2001 was a vital step up that ladder. During the match, his brother/not brother Christian attempted to run interference and accidentally speared his soon-to-be ex-ally. According to Edge, he came up with a spot the previous week, thinking it would be a good way to warm the audience to the impending split of Edge and Christian. He adds, however, that the agent for that match, who remained nameless, told them they absolutely could not use a run-in, so Edge went directly to Vince McMahon himself with his plan to fight for the spot. The boss concurred it was a good idea, the agent was overruled, and Christian ended up getting involved. Number 7, it was the final pay-per-view defense of the light heavyweight title. The WWE light heavyweight title. You had some ups, and you had some downs. Sometimes the likes of Taka Michinoku, Dean Malenko, and Scotty 2 Hotty had enjoyable matches for the strap. Other times, it was a comedy prop for Gillberg, or more invisible than JTG, who possibly still works for Vince without him knowing to this day. At SummerSlam 2001, WCW Cruiserweight Champion X-Pac defeated WWE Light Heavyweight Champion Tajiri, giving Mr. Popular Sean Waltman possession of both belts. The Light Heavyweight belt would never be defended on pay-per-view again, and was abandoned for good in November 2001. For completionists out there, the final WWE Light Heavyweight title match took place at a house show in Lexington, Kentucky on October 28, 2001, with X-Pac defeating Scotty 2 Hotty. Number 6, Jericho was knocked silly by the mid-air gore. If you only know Rhino as a cheese and cracker eating real dad to Heath Slater's kids, you're really missing out. In his prime, he was a legit monster. Gore. Chris Jericho will do anything to make his opponent look like a true world beater, and was no stranger to taking Rhino's sickening gore. After all, he'd previously taken one through the old SmackDown set in a classic moment, but the one he took at SummerSlam was spectacularly f***ing dangerous. Jericho let Rhino gore him outside the ring as Jericho descended from the top rope for a dive. The impact bounced Jericho's head off the arena floor, nearly taking him out of the match. Incredibly, Jericho finished the match, though it was clear something was wrong when he botched 2 consecutive springboard moves. Number 5, DDP performed with a torn meniscus. When you think of all the wrestlers that were directly affected by the WCW buyout, DDP is one of the ones you feel the most sorry for. The man gave up guaranteed sit-at-home money just to take part in a potentially hot storyline because he likes wrestling. Obviously, that has to be punished. Shortly after SummerSlam, Page had surgery on a torn meniscus that he had apparently been working through for more than a month. Though Page has long kept himself in optimum shape through his vigorous fitness regime, if only there was some way of him marketing that, wrestling a consistent schedule at the age of 45 with a shredded knee had to suck. The fact that Page was humiliated on the reg by The Undertaker makes it all the more tragic. Number 4, DDP handed Taker a script and was de-pushed. When looking for a reason as to why DDP's WWE run bombed so horribly, I shift towards The Undertaker, a wrestler who has amassed plenty of backstage power throughout his tenure. As much as Bertram Freaky Deeks unquestionably deserves his legendary status, he could also be a bit of a dick at times. Fans have pointed to matches like Taker vs Angle at Fully Loaded 2000, where the Phenom would be dominant to the degree of pointlessly making his opponent seem utterly ineffectual, a worse burial than even Triple H would commit. DDP was another victim of such booking, but the reason why is shocking. Page is notorious for scripting his matches down to the most minute details, to the annoyance of some of those he worked with. Several sources, including Dave Meltzer and Bob Holly, claim that Page tried to dictate his particular plans directly to The Undertaker. As Holly wrote, "Unless you're Vince, you don't tell Taker what to do, ever." Hence, Page getting annihilated in grand fashion. Number 3, Austin thought his match with Angle was his greatest as a heel. Life for WWE and Stone Cold alike were never quite the same after Austin turned heel at WrestleMania X7. Austin admits to enjoying his run as a born-again villain, but admits it was nowhere near as successful as his heroic hell-raising. What was better than ever, however, was Austin's in-ring work, as evidenced in matches with Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Kurt Angle. The WWE Championship match with Angle at SummerSlam, where Angle robotically fought his way back from several stunners and lost blood, would probably be considered a 5-star classic if it didn't end in disqualification. Austin spoke about the match on his podcast, saying of his character at the time, "That was probably one of my proudest matches working a pure vicious heel mode. That's what I try to tell people to embody as a heel." Number 2, Booker T and The Rock clashed in style. The main event of SummerSlam was fought for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which is bizarre. Booker T defended his Army's top belt against The Rock, who had recently returned after filming the Oscar-nominated movie The Scorpion King. Booker attested in his autobiography that he wasn't used to The Rock's working style. He wasn't alone. There were many clashes between WWE-style workers and the WCW imports, and further noted that he didn't assert himself in trying to make sure both men looked good throughout the match. And number 1, the buy rate was way down from Invasion. The anticipation for the Invasion pay-per-view was off the charts, so much so that it did the highest non-WrestleMania buy rate in WWE history. 770,000 buys. That's bananas. That show, whilst novel, disappointed in many ways, outside of a stellar Rob Van Dam Jeff Hardy hardcore title match. Austin joining the Alliance at the end of the show just confirmed that the Alliance were no threat on their own, and that, aside from DDP and Booker T, no more major stars from WCW would be joining the less than hostile takeover. The buy rate for SummerSlam 2001, while comparable to the 2000 show, was down almost 27% from Invasion, coming in at 565,000 buys. While that's still a number worth celebrating, it did demonstrate lost faith in where the biggest angle of all time was headed before it eventually died in November.
He did a great, you guys need to go and find on what Coach Wrestling how I would book the Invasion. That was a great video you guys will watch. I've already watched it, but no need to do exactly what you I would say go watch it. That was actually, I discovered that too, like, a great time. And I wonder about that because there are things like that where there were things about the Undertaker. And just the Undertaker, business forever, he had, the stuff backstage and the things he still do. I don't know, it was him. And he probably still right now, if he were to be backstage in a backstage performance type of manner, he still would be respected. You would have to go to Vince first and Mr. Man, can I go to talk to Taker? You might have to do that. That's just how Undertaker is. Because Undertaker has that respect because he was one of the few people who did not leave to go to WCW. During that time, that I would say from 94 to 99, there were a couple back and forth, people going back and forth, things like that, and then some even came back doing the invasion angle. I mean, listen, we know about Hall and Nash. X-Pac went back, was in WWE, went to Nitro, came back to WWE. So many others as well. So the whole everything, Bret Hart, of course. So yeah, it was what it was. So it doesn't make a difference. Obviously, up next is 2002, and I think that should probably be posting sometime today. I don't think I'll do a reaction to it, but again, I encourage you to go over, subscribe to World Culture Wrestling, so that you can see these videos. You can find that how I would book the invasion angle video and many other videos that do such a great job on. We are only a few days away from SummerSlam, a couple of weeks, right? Monday, 2 weeks away, so we are only 2 weeks away from SummerSlam, and we got the Takeover Brooklyn and SummerSlam is totally awesome. Once again, if you don't know what's going to happen here on the channel, I'm going to be watching NXT Takeover Brooklyn right afterwards. I'm going to do a live rapid reaction to it, so you guys want to be there for that, and then I'm going to do the rapid reaction to WWE SummerSlam live, meaning that at 6 o'clock, I'm going to fire up the computer and turn on the live stream, and you will see me just like you did on WWE Stream Rules. I will be sitting here watching WWE SummerSlam, and I will be doing my thoughts throughout the match and things like that. I will be doing other things, probably eating some chicken from Domino's. Domino's sells chicken apparently, so I'll be doing a lot of those things. So it's fun. You can be watching it with me. I will not be showing it to you on the screen. That's disallowed and uncalled for, and no, we'll not be doing that. But you will be able to hear it, because that's okay. So, all right, y'all, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.